Hi everyone, today we're going to look at Meervoude, or plurals, and the rules that apply. What's really important is the way words sound. In Afrikaans, when we make something a plural, we generally add an E, and this changes the way the word sounds, because E is like a little kissing catcher. He loves to kiss other vowels, and even if there's one consonant between them, he'll still kiss the vowel and change it from a short sound to a long sound. Sometimes this is to our benefit, sometimes it's not. If we take the three words mat, and mate in English, we can see that the same thing happens. If we take mat and add an E to the end to make it mate, we can see that it goes from the short sound to the long a sound. So mat to mate. If we put another T in, that makes it matte, as in the opposite of glossy. This makes it a short A again, and it goes back to being an sound. Then, if we look at the Afrikaans stuff, we can see that when we make kop a plural, we might be tempted just to add an E straight away. This doesn't work, because then it makes it a longer sound. It makes it kopa. And that doesn't sound right, because then it sounds like we've pluralized the word koop, to buy. So what we have to do to keep this vowel sounding the same in the plural form is add another P to protect it from being kissed by the E. That means that now it reads kopa, as it should do instead of kopa, like over here. Now that we've covered that basic understanding, I think we can move on to what the real rules for Meervoude are. The basic rule is that we add an E, but there's a couple of ways that we make this happen. And we start with 4 different kinds of words. We have the kinds of words that have double vowels in the middle, and by double vowels I mean 2 vowels that aren't the same. Then we have double consonants, so at the end of the word finishes with 2 consonants. When I say one vowel, I mean it has one vowel right before the very last consonant. Then when I'm talking about twin vowels, I mean twin vowels right before one consonant. Let's take a look at these double vowels. We just add an E to the end, which is the basic rule, and we don't need to do anything else, because these 2 vowels over here are already kissing, and the E can't get in. So, when a word is double vowels and ends on one consonant, we just add an E. When a word ends on the double consonants, we also just add an E. This is because the vowel over here is protected by these 2 consonants, and the E can't get to the vowel to kiss it. If we move up to words that have one vowel with one consonant at the end, we can see that if we were to just add an E straight away, it would suddenly make klase instead of klas, or klasse. So we add an extra consonant to protect this vowel from the E. So klas becomes klasse, and the A still sounds the same. It's really important to remember with anything, even other than Meervoude, if you're adding an E directly after a consonant that is directly after only one vowel, it is so important that you double the consonant so that the sound stays the same. If we move down to the twin vowels, what we have here is 2 vowels, and they're twins. And you know how twins are often quite different? Well, twin vowels are the same. We have a brave vowel, and we have a not so brave vowel. And when the not so brave vowel sees the E coming, he does not want to be kissed. He is terrified of the letter E. So he runs away. And it's the same with all the other sets of twin vowels. The scared vowel runs and hides. But the brave vowel is okay with facing the E. So we don't need to protect him. so we just drop one of the twin vowels and add an E to the end, as we can see that I've done here. This means that the vowels still sound the same. Because the O is being kissed by the E, remember he's the brave leftover vowel, it sounds long. So oor changes to ora, because that vowel is kissing the E. Right, now we can move on to words ending with F. This follows the basic rule, except that we change the F to a W and then apply the basic rules. Just like with the basic rules, there's the 4 groups: double vowels over here, double consonants, short vowels, and twin vowels. With the double vowels, they're already kissing, so we just change the F to a W and add an E. With the double consonants, we just change the F to a W and add an E because the vowel is protected by these double consonants, which stay double consonants even after we've changed the F to a W. We change the F to a W because deifa doesn't flow, whereas deva does, and the sounds in Afrikaans that flow are super important. Applying this rule with the short vowel is the same as using the basic rule. We change the F to a W and then we double it to protect that vowel from the E, so it stays a short sound. So straf becomes strava, and that A stays protected. The twin vowels are the same. The one vowel gets scared and runs away. Then we only left with the one. And we change the F to a W, and because that vowel is brave, it's okay that he has to kiss the E. So slaaf becomes slava, stoof becomes stova, and it stays a nice long sound. Now we're going to look at words ending with G. And there's 2 things that are going to happen. The G is either going to change to an E, or the G sound is going to be protected by adding a TE or an S. On this side, the G changes to an E. Here, there's a twin vowel, and the one vowel gets scared and runs away. So we're left with just the one, and we change the G to an E. Remember, the twin vowel gets scared when he sees an E coming. So vraag becomes vra, dag, da, vlag, vla. When we have OG, the same thing happens. The G changes to an E, except it's an E with the double teken on top of it. Okay? So oog becomes oor. Remember? This one little vowel got scared and ran away. So we only left with the one. Oog, oor. If it ends with a UIG, uig, then we change the G to an E as well. So vliegtuig becomes vliegtuig. Please excuse that spelling there, let me fix it. That's better, now that's right. Vliegtuig becomes vliegtuig, and so on and so forth. We're just changing the G to an E because the U and I are already kissing, they don't need any protection. Then we have the words that end with IG or NG. Okay? And the way that I like to remember the IG rule is to think of the game GTA. Now when GTA 5 came out, everyone wanted the Grand Theft Auto 5. So, I want GTA. Except I GTE, if that makes sense. So when you see the IG, know that you want to complete that G with GTA. Except it's GTE. Okay? So, lig becomes ligte, and we protect that IG sound. If it ends with NG, we just add an S. Koning becomes konings. Even if it's an ANG instead of an ING, the same thing happens. Just add an S. The only exception is leerling. Now remember, teachers tell students that they're special little snowflakes, right? So if you're such a special little snowflake, why would you follow the same NG rule as everyone else? No. So leerling becomes leerlinge instead of leerlings. Make sure that when you get tested on leerling meervoud, you make it leerlinge with an E instead of an S. Now we're going to look at words that get an S on the end. If a word is a diminutive or ends with an IE, even if it's not a diminutive, and remember diminutives are for kleinin, small words, they just get an S. So kaiki becomes kaikis, Macy becomes Macy's. Remember the diminutive of Macy is Maisiki, so that's not a diminutive, it just ends in IE, but it follows the same rule. Another group of words that get an S is multisyllable words that end with R. So when we say multisyllable, you need to clap the word out. Motor, onderwyser. If there's more than one clap, there's more than one syllable. If it ends with an R, just add an S. If it doesn't have more than one syllable, it'll be a word like kar, which is just kar, okay? Then it follows the basic rules and will be kara. For multi-syllables, follow this rule and add an S, okay? But only for words that end in R. Then we have these two groups of words over here. Words that end with vowels, okay, with a single vowel. We have words like ma, voortu, skadu. Then we have words like oma, opa, sofa, right? If the emphasis on the word is in the beginning, like oma, then it just gets an S. If the emphasis is at the end of the word, like ma, it's such a hard vowel sound right near the end of the word where we're going to put the S. And that's a bit scary for the S. So, we add an apostrophe between the vowel and the S to protect that the letter S from that hard, angry vowel. So ma, mas. Oma, omas. Very simple. Right, words that end in heid, H-E-I-D, change to hierde. So we add an E and drop the I. Okay, they love to test this one, besigheid, which becomes besighede. Okay, make sure you remember this rule. It's a very basic one that they love to test. Right, here we're looking at words that end in man, like Engelsman, changes to Engelse. We just replace the man with E. In English, we have Englishman and the English, or Frenchman and the French. It's the same. We're changing the man to an E. Fransman, Franse. Frenchman, the French. Okay? We have buurman, which is a neighbor. See that double vowel there? An E's coming. So he runs away. And we're only left with the one, bureau. So that long U sound stays the same because that U, that brave U, gets kissed by the E. For policeman, to change the man to an E would make it policie. And that doesn't work. So we just have the one E at the end, policie. If we look at words that end in KUS, the KUS changes to a CI or a kusse, so we double the S and add an E, which is kind of the rule that you would expect. Use whichever one you find easier to remember. Merikas, merisi, or merikusse. It's not one that's often tested, but it is good to know it. We've had a look at all of the basic easy to remember rules for Meervoude, but this is just part one of Meervoude because there are some more unusual rules and the exceptions that I'd still like to go over. As long as you've done this, you should be good, but I would advise looking at part 2 of this movie. Having the two together was too long to upload to YouTube, so I've just split them, and that makes it also a little bit easier to work through it. So we've looked at all the easy rules, and that's that for this part 1 of Meervoude. Come back and have a look at my other videos.